The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy by Douglas Adams is a novel about a human who hitchhikes with his alien friend Ford Prefect off Earth right before its destruction by a bureaucratic race of aliens called Vogons, who did this to make a way for a hyperspatial express route. The plot continues with the search for the ultimate question about the universe, finding the man in charge of the universe and making sandwiches. In order to communicate with a wide variety of races and species, automatic translation occurs by the use of a Babelfish. Here you can see that the Babelfish can be inserted quite easily into the ear, much like a standard hearing aid. Once the Babelfish is inserted into the ear, it can then pick up and receive any type of message and interpret it and send it back out into the real world. Also, here's a little bit better description where you can see that someone is being able to send some type of information to the Babelfish, and once the Babelfish is able to interpret that information, it can then be translated by the other individual. Translation is very important in the novel and also today's society because the better we are able to understand one another, our effective communication will also be improved. And here you can see how a lack of communication can cause problems. We believe that technology similar to Babelfish has become increasingly more useful in our lifetime. With both verbal and visual translation apps at our disposal, the implications for both societal and ethical effects are very positive. In Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, the Babelfish technology only worked for verbal communication, and it worked flawlessly. Throughout society, we know that this is rarely the case. Many times there are not word-for-word translation, and if there are, they do not always make sense due to phrasing of different languages. However, those communicating are usually still able to understand, thus the apps are successful. Another societal effect was trade. Now that we have the capability to understand each other more readily, trade becomes easier since there is now direct communication with virtually anyone in the world, increasing the effectiveness of our economy. Translation apps can be very useful because they can take simple conversations and interpret them rather easily. And at the end, everyone is happy. However, some of the times a sentence or phrase can be said and interpreted incorrectly, which can be quite confusing. This never happened with Babelfish. Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy also had few ethical effects, many involving the blending of a wide variety of cultures. Thus, a blending of different ethical values. This is something that we also see today, as more cultures are able to learn about each other and appreciation is gained. This leads to better communication and an overall better understanding of the ethical effects worldwide. For the most part, the societal and ethical implications are positive in the novel and also reality.